It's time for another episode of the Film Room, and on today's episode, we're going to take a look at Oregon defensive tackle, defensive end, Brandon Dorlus. If you're not familiar with what I do in these videos, is I like to take clips for various games to kind of highlight these players, and Brandon Dorlus is a guy that I don't think enough people are talking about. So many people are not talking about him. I actually had to look up to make sure he was in this 2024 NFL draft and that he didn't just go back to school. But I absolutely love him as a prospect. I have him ranked pretty high in my rankings. And I think this is a guy that's going to go higher than people expect. And I think could have a chance to be a good NFL player. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the tape. Now, Brandon Dorlus is a versatile player for the Oregon Ducks. He plays both outside and inside. And he's got a lot to like, especially as a pass rusher. So here against Washington, he's lined up at this defensive tackle spot, head up on the right tackle. And at the snap, he's going to go in against this right tackle. And he's going to show his power to get up underneath of him, and then that shed to get the block. And as we see once again, he's able to get those hands underneath the shoulder pads, drive him back, put him on skates, and then what I love here is as he's seeing that the quarterback's going to leave, we see him move inside, little swim move to get free, and then uses his length to be able to make the sack or at least force the incompletion. We see another example of that later on in the game. Here he is once again lined up. He looks like he's head up, but he's tilted and slanted inside. So once again at the snap, he's just going to use that strength to bull rush, get to the inside. And then what I love here is we even saw in that last clip, he's, thinking that if he's not going to be able to get to him, I'm still going to be able to get a hand up and affect this play. And he ends up batting it down and forcing the incompletion and just showing that power. I think he gets a lot of that power from his burst off the line, but then just that ability to just not quit, to get that inside, get to the inside edge, and get all the way to the quarterback. And if you can't hit the quarterback, at least bat the ball down. Now here against Colorado, he's lined up right here on the right-hand side, 3 technique between the guard and the tackle. And what I love about this play is at the snap of the ball, he's reading because it is a read option, kind of holding that gap. But then once he sees that the quarterback is keeping this, look at him just rip down that left guard, shoot in, and be able to get a sack. And then once again just shows his power to be able to just grab and pull down. That left guard isn't a small guy. And then just that burst and that agility to get into the burst forward into the backfield, and then the agility to be able to adjust as the quarterback tries to flee. He's able to adjust, reach out, and get that sack. Now going back to the Washington game, he's much more than just power. As we can see, once again lined up, 3 technique here. And at the snap, he's going to, they're going to run a little game where this guy loops in, and he's got to try and occupy both these guys. And what I love about this is he does that and gets it so that guy can get to the edge, but then he's generated so much power that he's pushed back the right tackle, and he's able to get in. And I'd like to think, maybe I'm stretching here, but once again, gets in here. And I'd like to think that he's getting into the quarterback's face, gets his hand up, forces Penix maybe not to follow through with that ball enough, that forces the ball to be overthrown. I mean, the receiver was open. The ball was almost there. Maybe Penix had to release it just a tidge too early because Dorlus's hand was up and possibly affecting this play. He had pressure. He had bodies in front of him because Dorlus was able to push back the right tackle, a guy that has been getting some late first-round attention, Rosengarten. And get in there and put some pressure to force an errant throw. Now, every clip that I've shown you so far is Brandon Dorlus using his power, using that explosiveness to create the power. Here against Colorado, he's kind of hidden behind the massive right tackle. I love his athleticism that he shows here. So at the snap of the ball, he's going to go attack at the right guard. You see the center kind of going over to help him as well. And he's able to just make a quick lateral cut to cut past both guys, get into the backfield. And then I just love his ability to adjust and just make that cut to come forward and go after that quarterback. And it's just that lateral quickness, that burst forward. Once again, getting his hands up, tipping that ball, forcing this ball to be incomplete to the wide receiver who looked like he had an opening there. And all because of Brandon Dorlus' athleticism, his lateral agility, his burst, his ankle flexibility to be able to put that foot down and come up. He's able to affect the play once again, even though he didn't hit the quarterback. Another example of that is here against Washington. He's going to line up more on the edge, 5 technique. And at the snap of the ball, it's a pass. They're blocking down, play action pass, I should say. They're blocking down, and he's able to get into here, and he's matched up with this running back. And the running back tries to cut him or whatever, but he's able to adjust. And I love that ability, if we see it in full speed coming forward, just make that slight adjustment to be able to come up. And once again, he affects the throw here. He's getting over here. He's getting his hands up. Penix has to throw the ball. And once again, maybe I'm stretching. I probably am. And he didn't affect that. But he's getting into this backfield quick. Penix sees him. And he has to get rid of this ball sooner. He's kind of fading away on this throw. And it ends up being short. Even if the receiver caught it, can't remember, he's got nowhere to go because he had to go to the ground to get that ball. And all because of Dorlus's speed, quickness, and his agility to be able to elude that running back coming out and trying to get a hand on him, and he still affects the play. Now let's take a look at Dorlus as a run defender. I spent all those time talking about him as a pass rusher. How is he as a run defender? So here against Washington, remember this Washington offense won the Joe Moore Award, the best offensive line in college football. So he's doing this against, maybe you can argue Michigan should have won it again, but he's still doing this against a top 5 offensive lineman. Roger Rosengarten is getting some second round, late first round love. Left tackle Troy Fautanu is probably going to be a top 20 pick in the NFL draft. Okay? The other guys are talented as well. And so at the snap here, we see Dorlus shuffle down. Remember, he's right here on this right-hand side, number 3. So he's going to shuffle down, see this inside run, and then you look at it, the left tackle, even with him sliding down, has him in a spot to seal him off so that the running back can go up this lane right here. But Dorlus uses his strength, just pushes Fautanu down into the running back, and then is able to wrap him up and make the tackle. We see it at full speed, just shuffles down, push it, reads it, gets his hands up, pushes the left tackle into the running back to make the tackle. All right, on this play, we have Dorlus lined up right here in the 3 technique again, matched up with this left guard. And on this play, once again, we see his ability to take on blocks. Takes on this left guard, holds the point of attack real quick, sees the running back coming, is able to shed inside, wrap him up, and make the tackle. Does he get pushed back a tidge? Not really. Just be able to engage, free himself inside, and just go wrap up and bring the running back down. And then I'll leave you with this last clip along the goal line. This is where it's tough for defensive linemen. Right? So Dorlus is right here. Once again, 4-eye technique inside the top 25, top 20 offensive tackle, Troy Fontenot. And at the snap, he's able to make a quick lateral move to get outside, get into that gap, and then push his way in to get the stop. Hey, I know there was pressure up the middle as well. Don't get me wrong. This guy right here is getting some pressure. He's looping around to get some pressure. But he shot in. He's already in the backfield. He's already free, basically. And he's able to shoot in, help make that stop short of the goal line. And so we see in these last three clips that I showed you as his run defender, not only is he able to use his strength to be able to hold the point of attack and shed, but he's also able to use his quickness and his agility to create penetration and get into the backfield. There is so much to like about Brandon Dorlus as an NFL draft prospect. Here you got a guy that's 6'3", 283 pounds, so he's a little bit light for a defensive tackle, but he shows the ability to be able to rush from the inside, and that is something that is desperately needed that NFL teams are craving. And so he's got, not only does he have that ability, he shows the power, he shows the quickness, he also has the versatility to be able to go inside and out. You know, I showed you that he was able to rush from the interior. He's also lines up as a defensive end, so you could potentially use him as a base DN, a 5 technique, reduce him inside to rush on pass rushing situations. Maybe you just rush him as an interior rusher. He's a pass rushing specialist early on, but I think he is a guy that you're not hearing anything about. I finally heard something get mentioned about him the other day, and it was the first time I'd heard anything. I love this guy as a prospect. He's my 29th rated player in this class, so I have him as a top 32 player. Doesn't mean I have him as a first-round grade. There still are some concerns about him, but I really like him as a prospect. As you can see, I love his quickness. I love his power. I love his agility, and you need pass-rushing guys inside, and I think Dorlus is a guy that's going to go a lot higher than people think. All right, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this episode of the Film Room. Remember, the best way to get these is to subscribe to the channel. So not only subscribe, but hit the bell for all the notifications. Make sure you're following me on social media as well. Draft_Brian. Doesn't matter where you do your social media, you can find me there. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time.